Hi, it's Anathea, your divine feminine educator and evolutionary astrologer. Happy New Year. I'm super excited about the new year, and there's so much astrology to look at. But in this video, what I really want to talk about is the Venus star or the Venus cycle. There you go. I have to go sideways like this. And what she's up to. The main dates that I'm going to cover is tomorrow, January 6th. She's meeting with the king, the sun, and she's having her conjunction there. And then I'm watching and seeing what she's doing afterwards because she's like the messenger. Where is she giving this information that she got from the king and spreading it out to help the evolution of mankind, humankind, womankind? So I'm going to talk about some important dates. First, I'm going to cover the cycle of Venus so that you understand how magical she is. Then I'm going to talk about February the 20th, where Neptune and Saturn conjunct and what she's up to during that time. And then how magical she is in interacting with Three Eye Atlas in March and April. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get into it. When I got up this morning, I said, okay, let's look at what I want to really say as far as my message. I thought I can talk about 2026, what's happening in 2026 for all of the different um, influences. But then when I started getting into Venus and what she's up to, it's pretty magical. My challenge is how do I, because I'm not coming from just an analytical point of view. I get all these intuitive hits as I'm looking and as I'm following Venus, and I'm seeing how she's working through our lives and how she's working through the chart. And the message, like, I'm like, how do I get this message out to you? I'm going to give it my best shot. If you want me to keep on doing these, I really appreciate that to hear you. Give me some comments. Make sure that you thumbs up this video, share it, because what I'm about to share, I feel is super powerful. Again, we're going to be covering tomorrow, why tomorrow is so special, January 6th. We're going to be talking about February the 20th, why that is so special. Saturn Neptune conjunction and how Venus is related to that. And then the last one is March 7th and April the 23rd. So we're kind of the first few months of 2026 is what I'm going to be talking about as it relates to Venus and how she can help you in your relationships. And even, Venus is also about money. So, allowing love and abundance to flow in your life if you tap in and tune into her. So let's first talk about Venus. Venus is the planet of love and abundance and ease and harmony and joy and pleasure and open-heartedness and also your values. What is most important to you? That's why Venus is so important. She's on the inside of the sun. So the sun circles or orbits the sun, and she's on the inside and Mercury's on the inside. So they're shorter orbits. Now, she cycles the sun every 225 days. That's her orbit. So it's less than Earth, but her synodic cycle, which means that she has this really beautiful dance as she goes around the sun and she dances with the Earth, creating this beautiful, and I'm going to show you this way, this beautiful five-pointed star. And this five-pointed star is like the human body. This is the head, the arms, and the legs. And so this star, and as it's with the head is up here. So the star, pointed star is here. It's not inverted. This is a very harmonic, magical symbol that can activate harmony, that can activate love, that can open your heart. At least these are the things that I feel. So we want to work with Venus. We want to work with that five-pointed star energy to enhance our lives in a really beautiful way. So this dance that she creates to create this beautiful mandala has been going on for eons. I think it's 1,000 years to make this, okay? And it's 9.5 months. And these points are when she meets with the king, when she meets with the sun, okay? And that happens every about 9.5 months where she comes together and she meets, okay? But the interesting part is that she meets the sun one time close to the earth, right? So she's going around the sun. The Earth is going around the sun, right? And they're doing this dance. And she's meets and has that conjunction with the sun when she's closest to Earth. So that's called an interior or inferior conjunction. And then she does her thing and she's on the other side of the sun, and that's her, and meets with the sun, does a conjunction with the sun, and that's the exterior or superior conjunction. Okay. And these happen basically every 9.5 months. And this has been going on for eons. It's very harmonic. It's very rhythmic. It's very beautiful. It's very, like I said, harmonics. It harmonizes our biology. It harmonizes, the energy. Mars is really kind of just the opposite. I don't know. I haven't studied Mars, but Mars and Venus are basically the masculine and feminine energies, and that's what this dimension is. So the planets closest to Earth, besides the moon, is Venus on the interior going towards the sun, and the orbits on the outside. The next planet is Mars. So Earth is basically sandwiched by Mars and Venus if we don't talk about the moon, right? The moon, but the moon is feminine energy as well. So we've got that cycle and that beautiful rhythm going on, and it's all about meeting with the sun, which is the center of our solar system, the radiant light, and she's also an illuminary, so she carries a lot of luminous energy. She's the brightest star or brightest, yeah, star in the sky, if we want to say star, after the sun and the moon than Venus. Okay. So she holds some really powerful, magical energy, and again, is very much worth understanding and tuning into. So she orbits the sun every 225 days, but her synodic cycle, the dance that she has where they finally she makes a full circle around and meets back where she was, because see, the Earth is moving as well as when she's doing her 225-day orbit. So when they finally meet up again, to the beginning point, that's called the synodic cycle, that's 548 days. But in the meantime, she's having this beautiful dance every 9.5 months, meeting with the sun on the inside of the closest to the Earth, and then on the other side, the furthest on the other side of the sun, furthest from the Earth, kind of thing. Okay. What else do I want to say about that? And and I don't know if you knew this, but she's doing this beautiful dance when that's all happening. What she's doing is she is appearing when she's when she's having her meeting with the king, the sun, on the other side of the earth of the sun from us. She is comes out. So she disappears for a little bit and then reappears. She disappears because she goes into the rays of the sun. We can't see her, right, in the sky. But what she does then is when she has her meeting with the king, the sun, this conjunction, and which she's going to have tomorrow, okay? Um, she's still, we can't see her because she's in the light of the sun. She's in the rays of the sun. They're having their little romance together, right? And then oh, I just had another hit, but I'm not gonna include it in this one. I get so many like downloads, and trying to give it a voice to you can be very, very challenging. But anyway, because Venus is the feminine, the moon is the feminine. Oh, the sun is the masculine, and Mars is the masculine. Okay, so we have two and two. Anyway, okay. So when she comes out, then she reappears in the sky as an evening star. And the evening star carries that energy of just having met with the sun. So she comes out and she's the lover, right? And then when she comes back 9.5 months, she's in the interior conjunction. Then she disappears, okay? She comes out as the morning star. So she alternates between evening star, disappearing, and there's a whole retrograde cycle around that as well. And then evening star, morning star, and then disappears, and then evening star. So you'll see her. You'll see her in the east as a morning star, and then you'll see her in the west as an evening star. So she will, and I don't know what the date is, but it's coming in February. She will start to reappear around the 20th, I think it might be the 17th, as an evening star. So I want you to get out there and look at her because she is giving us lots of gifts. So let's get into what she's giving us. Tomorrow, January 26th at 9:10 a.m. PST, she is going to have her exact conjunction with the sun. Now, if we look at the chart, and I'm looking at the chart right here, she's not alone. She's right there with Mars. So it's fascinating. If we look at and it's all in Capricorn. So the Sun, Venus, and Mars in Capricorn, plus Mercury's there, Juno, the asteroid about relationships, and Pluto. And I already mentioned Mars. Pluto is there in Aquarius. So we've got all of this Capricorn, and then standing by is Pluto in Aquarius, just a little bit of distance. But that's a lot of Capricorn energy. And so this Venus star point is about making relationships work. And it's interesting because the very next day, January the 7th, Venus, Mars, and the Sun are all going to be in conjunction. So normally Venus and the Sun are together doing their thing, but Mars is in the mix. So it's really about us learning how to get along, how to navigate both our masculine and feminine energies within us, and also the opposite sex, how to get along, because Capricorn is about making things work, making it more not emotional. Capricorn is not emotional. Capricorn is solid, grounded, hardworking, practical. You can rely on people with Capricorn energy. So this is about making relationships solid, making Capricorn isn't about honoring, but whatever you need to do to accept the opposite sex, accept the differences, and make it, don't do it from an emotional point of view through your triggers and all of that. Do it in a way that honors a solid foundation, creating a solid foundation between the masculine and feminine energies within yourself and within the opposite sex in you. Okay. Or if you're, I'm thinking especially in relationship, but even if it's masculine and feminine energies of a same-sex partner. So it's really working with relationship dynamics and making them more solid, more practical, more workable. Capricorn is all about work and stable. Capricorn is very stable. So this is a very stabilizing force. But because that Pluto and Aquarius is there, it's going to want us to transform. So look at those things and communicate. There's Mercury's in the mix, okay? And Juno's in the mix, which gives it another Venusian relational piece to it. So what can you do tomorrow and the next day to really seed a better, more solid navigation in your life around making relationships more solid, more stable, more practical, more reliable? Okay. Now, the interesting part is that, and I don't want to miss anything here. The interesting part is that now, so she gets that information. This is how I see they carry information and then they're starting to connect with other planets in their cycle. So she got the information from the sun. She gave the sun information. The sun continues to shine. And then she's going to continue to move around and disseminate that information of how to make relationships more practical, how to create more reliability and more of a strong foundation in our relating with each other between these two opposing energies, right? We all know that masculine and feminine energies are very, very different energies. And so what happens next from this beginning of January, then we move to the next one where I see that it is powerful, and it's another marker is February the 20th, okay? And the reason why February the 20th is such a powerful day is because that is when Saturn and Neptune are conjunct at 0 degrees Aries. And 0 degrees Aries is the beginning point in tropical astrology, okay, from the Earth's point of view, us as Earthlings in the solar system. I'm not talking sidereal astrology or true sky constellational astrology. I'm talking about the things that bind us here in this life after life cycle of reincarnation. And when we start understanding this, we can free ourselves and see become galactic citizens instead of just solar system citizens. Okay. Now that's a subject for a whole different discussion, but this is playing out to really help us. And that's what I want to say is that I'm talking about tropical astrology here, not constellational or true sidereal astrology, but they both play a very important role. So this is strongly going to be personally affecting you. And it also really depends on where these things are happening in your chart, what area of life, because there's 12 different sectors in one's natal chart. The area of self, the area of your money, the area of siblings and communication, home and hearth, purpose and self-expression, work and vocation, relationships, other people's money and deep dark emotions, expanding your horizons and travel and other cultures, career and how people see you out in the world, community, and then your spirituality and surrender, trusting in the process and letting go. So these are the different sectors. Where is this all happening in your chart? Where is this Venus star point coming together in your chart? Where is February the 20th, where Neptune and Pisces are coming together in your chart? This is powerful because what's happening here is that they have been dancing. Neptune and Saturn have been dancing the last, I think, year or even more between Pisces and Aries, the last sign of the zodiac and the beginning sign of the zodiac. Okay. So this has been like, and I even talked about it in other videos past, like this birthing canal and what's wanting to be birthed. Ask yourself, what is wanting to be birthed in you? Because now is the time to really allow that energy to come out, because it's been going back and forth between Neptune and Saturn have been going back and forth between Pisces and Aries. And finally now, this is the culmination point, February the 20th, of Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. The birthing, Aries, it's like the Aries is the very first degree of the zodiac, and it's the birthing point, and it's Saturn and Neptune. Saturn making your dreams come true. It's a Neptune. Okay. I mean, that's one way to look at it, right? But what's been happening is Saturn has been dissolving, because Saturn is all about dreams and oh, everything's wonderful, like compassion, and we're all connected. And Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is creates systems and structures. And so what's been happening before February the 20th is anything, and Neptune is also about your belief systems, and meaning, because it's also in connection with Jupiter and Pisces. And so it's like everything that has keeps you from being that new powerful Aries 0 point you, that maybe entrepreneur, maybe you've been wanting to get out of the corporate system and start your own company, because the corporate systems are restructuring themselves. The government, Capricorn is also the government. They're all dissolving. So Neptune has been dissolving what's the system, Saturn, that don't work anymore. So we've got Neptune and Saturn. They've been dancing together between that ending and beginning sign. February the 20th is the okay, we're doing this in the new way. So they've been communicating and in your life and affecting you, making you, pushing you, supporting you in letting go of those things that no longer serve you in the context of a better world. Neptune understands that we are all connected. Saturn is about systems and structures. Okay. So what's been happening is systems and structures have been dissolving that no longer serve the greater good. So you in your life, where is this playing out where you are realigning, letting go, like the us, I always talk about this, the us and them thinking, this Democrat, Republican, like it's like it's the same, it's two wings of the same bird, It's one system. And if we and Neptune sees the whole thing, but Saturn, is creating structures in the past to separate those out. That has to all dissolve. We have to understand that we are on this earth and all in the same boat. And that's what Saturn and Neptune is helping us to understand. And how is that working in your life to let you release those things that are allowing you to step into a more powerful, more connected, more harmonious you without this us and them consciousness, understanding that what your create and Aries is very creative, your creative impulse and how what you individually have to offer is not for, I mean, it's going to be specialized, but how is that going to help humanity as a whole? Okay. And I know that, Neptune is about dreams. What's been dreaming up inside of you that's been wanting to be birthed? And where is that at in your chart? What part of your I know where it is in mine. It's in the house of Leo, so that's self-expression. Um, okay. So this is, I hope I'm making sense because I get kind of excited when I start sharing all of this. I'm going to pause the recording for just a moment and I will be right back. Okay. So we have January 6th, January 7th, big days for relationship, Mars, Venus, making them more practical, Capricorn. Then we got February the 20th, Venus is going to conjunct I'm not Venus. Neptune and Saturn are going to be conjunct at 0 Aries. So this is this new starting. And what's interesting is this, I think it's February the 7th. Yeah, I said that in my email. February the 17th, I mean, is the new Chinese New Year's. Big stuff. So really, right now, January, and we're at January 5th right now, is a time of staying cocooned. It's been doing nothing but raining here. And I don't even think I've gone into town for maybe 3 days now. And it's crazy. I've gotten more energetic by just cocooning into my own little world in here. So don't be afraid to be by yourself and see what wants to blossom inside of you. We busy ourselves with lots of noise. And this is not a time for noise. This is a time, especially as we move further into 2026, where we move from earth, water with all the outer planets to air, earth, water to air, fire. Boom, it's going to rocket. So it's really important for you to have the skills to ground into your body and slow yourself down and get out of your head. And I always talk about getting out of your head and being in your body. Now, that Neptune Saturn conjunction that happens on the February the 20th birth, I want to mention one other thing about that. That's Neptune and Saturn. Neptune is ruled by Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is the higher vibration of Venus. So I asked myself, I knew February the 20th was going to be the big, huge conjunction we've all been waiting for, where these two planets come together at 0 Aries, and how they've been crossing between that last sign of the zodiac and the first sign of the zodiac, that birthing energy that's wanting to be birthed after restructuring everything. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to really drive this home, how this energy has been doing this and what's happening on February the 20th. But I said to myself, well, let's look at what Venus is doing, because Venus met with the sun and then it's going to travel forward, and it was in Capricorn. So we've got Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces. And by the time February the 20th comes, Venus is going to be right at the north node, alongside, very close, 8 degrees and 12 degrees, Venus at 12, of Pisces. And so she's carrying her information. And when Neptune and Saturn come in conjunction, she will have carried her information that she got from the sun, elevated through Aquarius, and helped with relationship dynamics, making them more practical, right? And then she will have gone through Aquarius wanting to elevate, because that's what Aquarius wants, is to elevate. And then she went into Pisces and she's sitting there at the North Node. Now, the North Node has been in Pisces. And so the North Node is the direct collective. You have a North Node in your chart, and that tells a lot about what your soul is here to do. It's kind of like your rising sign on some levels. It's the direction of what your soul wants to go into. And this is a collective direction. So we're in Pisces, I think, until July, and then it shifts nodes. So Venus will be right there at Pisces when Neptune and Saturn are in Aries. Okay, so ahead of the game. But she will be holding space there with that higher vibration of collective energy, compassion and love and understanding that we are all one, while that burst of energy with Neptune and Saturn is happening over in Aries. Okay. She's holding this equanimity while that birthing or that bursting and birthing is happening with Saturn and Neptune. Okay. So I found that very interesting how she's right there at the north. So what she's really helping us with is rebirth yourself, create something new. And what this is all about is making sure that it's something that helps all of us, all sentient beings on the planet, even beyond. Okay. Because that's what Pisces is. Pisces is about compassion. Pisces is the higher vibration of Venus, and Venus is about love. So it's about transpersonal love. It's not about me, mine. So it's interesting Mars and Venus are very personal planets, and they were together January 6th and 7th. And then February, she carries all of that into a transpersonal. Okay. Um, while it's in Aries, the conjunction Neptune and Saturn, personal. So all of us I hope I'm making sense. All of us are really being called to make the personal transpersonal. And what I mean by that personal is me, mine, my boyfriend, my family, my house, right? And then that's personal. That's Mars, Venus, Mercury, right? And transpersonal are the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, okay? And then the transition planets are Jupiter and Saturn because they're the bridge between personal and transpersonal. So all of these are dancing together. Venus is helping weave, weave this beautiful harmonic of understanding that we are all connected and that your relationships are beautiful mirrors of how they show inside you the places that you're disconnected and keep you from the greater whole. So January 6th and 7th was that Sun-Venus conjunction and Sun-Venus-Mars conjunction. February the 20th is the Neptune-Saturn conjunction and the new beginning, the new structuring of your life that is for the greater good of humanity, right? This is such a great thing. And Venus is going to be there at the North Node in Pisces, bringing in that collective consciousness and understanding that we are all connected. And we need all of this energy at this time with everything that's happening politically, right? Because I'm very optimistic that this is all going to work in our favor if we can tap into and keep our hearts open and see a better future. Because I can feel it inside me that it wants to be birthed as well. So I'm going to bring in the 3i Atlas information now as well, okay? So on March the 7th and April the 23rd, so Venus is going to continue. She was in Pisces, and then she's going to carry that information to Neptune in Aries. So and this is, I didn't write down the degree, but that's March the 7th is another beautiful, big, powerful day. And then April the 23rd, she's going to carry that information to Uranus in Taurus. These are transpersonal planets that she's carrying very personal Venus information to them. And those outer planets are all in a very interesting configuration, almost like a arrow And it's really what it's doing is it's pushing us to evolve. Now we add three eye atlas to all of this. And this is finally and I have one more thing I want to share too. Um, that three eye atlas and what three eye atlas has been doing plays into all of this. And so this is so important that you really do the inner work. I mean, lighten up your heart, lighten up your diet, bring in more breath, more movement, so you can ride this energy of awakening that's being um, given to us, sprinkled on us, pushed on us, even. Okay. Um, because March and April are going to be very special months, and Venus at that time is going to be talking to Neptune in Aries and Uranus in Taurus. So we have this burst on February the 20th in Aries to really, boom, create this new birthing of this new humanity within ourselves and collectively. And then March, Venus is going to give it to Neptune in Aries and bless that burst, because then it'll be that conjunction, and then Venus will trot through and say, okay, I'm going to give the check off mark, all is well, right? Let's add more love to that connection, that birthing process. And then April the 23rd, she's going to carry all that information over to Uranus in Taurus. So Taurus is, we've got Aries, the birthing, right? The passion, the make it happen, survival. Let's get it going. Let's all understand that we're all connected. But then she's going to go to Venus, to Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, and it's going to be like, let's kind of ground this higher awareness, Uranus, into the earth, into our dimension, Taurus, at 29 degrees. I wrote down the degree here. And 29 degrees is the anaretic degree. It's the last degree of that zodiac sign. It's 9, 10, 11. It's 11, which is about illumination. So this is powerful. Now, the reason why I looked at those dates, I wanted to see what Venus was. I wanted to track Venus and see what she's doing. So I wanted to see where Venus was when Neptune and Saturn came together. And pretty magical, like I already described. She's at that North Node in Pisces, holding that collective energy consciousness. And then I was like, well, where's she going to be at when Three Eye Atlas is over there in Jupiter? And now this is a whole other thing to explain. So and I hope you've been following my videos, so this isn't just completely don't understand what's going on. Three Eye Atlas is an interstellar object that has been barreling through our solar system, and it really lit me up. It rocked my world. July 1st is when we collectively, became aware of it, even though it was in our solar system prior to that. And then it was close to Mars, close to the Sun, close to Venus, close to the Earth. December 19th, it was the closest to Earth. Now, these are like, there's still a lot of space and they're way out there, but this energy is billions of years old, and it has consciousness, and it's barreling through our solar system. So I liken it to a high-speed boat with a wake of consciousness that's spreading through our solar system. Okay. And that's why I say ride the wave. But what's happening, so here's the Earth. I mean, here's the Sun. Earth is here, let's say, and then it's going through Mars and the Sun, closest to Sun, Venus, Earth, and then going to Jupiter. And then the Earth is starting to orbit closer. And what's happening now, so it already made its pass, Three Eye Atlas, and it off-gassed. And the word is plasma here, if you want to study about plasma. So it went from red to green. Now it's gold, apparently. And once it got activated with the sun, and the sun and Three Eye Atlas activated each other, okay? The sun started releasing solar flares. Three Eye Atlas, I think, was already off gassing, but it activated also because it hadn't seen the light of sun, a star, in billions of years, right? And so I just saw a squirrel as I said that. And so it goes and it's made its pass, and now it's on its way out of the solar system. March the 16th, it will be closest to Jupiter, and then it's going to be goodbye. But this is the time right now where all of that energy is coming through. the solar system and through us, right? But what's fascinating is that the Earth keeps on moving and then it's going to go around and it's going to be in that same general area of where it was when it was closest to the sun, when it got activated by the sun. Okay. So I was like, well, something's going to be powerful. We're going to be in this sprinkle of consciousness, this wisdom of awareness, billion-year-old wisdom, and the earth is then going to go through that path of where it got lit up by the sun when it was closest to the sun. And that's in March and April. So I was like, well, where's Venus? And what's Venus doing? So I noticed March the 7th, it's going to be conjunct Neptune in Aries. So again, Neptune is like Pisces, Aries is the birthing, the beginning, and April the 23rd, it's going to be next to Uranus, and Uranus wants to elevate things in Taurus, but grounding that elevated energy, that more conscious energy into Mother Earth, grounding it into this dimension. It's so, so powerful. I was going to mention one more thing, but I'll do another video on that. But this Venus cycle is worth tapping into and understanding. So let me review again. Uh, January 6th and January 7th are big days to make your relationships more solid, more practical, give it more of a foundation, whether that's the relationship you have with you, make it more practical, right? Make it even more, Capricorn is about right and wrong, understanding. Capricorn is about man's law versus Neptune universal law, okay? So, what do you need to do to make your communicating your relationships to make them more solid, make them more practical? Don't get all your emotions involved. Do the solid work to be able to make them more workable, more practical, more solid, more doable, more of a stable. That's the word I'm looking for. What can you do to make your relationships more stable? That's the gift that's being given to us January 6th and 7th. And then Venus moves on. February the 20th is when we're being the conjunction for Venus. I'm not Venus, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, the birthing at the 0 point Aries for you as an individual and for the collective, right? And Venus is helping us, standing by that North Node in Pisces, saying, hey, we're all in this together, right? Let's hold that space as we birth our individual selves, okay? And then March the 7th, Venus is going to be talking to Neptune in Aries, which is really going in after that big conjunction on February the 20th and just saying, hey, I'm sending a little bit more love and support for that birthing that you're doing collectively and individually. And then while we're going through that 3-eye atlas, you could call it cosmic litter, but it's basically, it could be, I don't know, because I'm not a scientist. I just get these hits and I see these things and I feel these things it's all about energy. And so as we go through what was the wake of 3-eye atlas, that'll be March 7th. Venus is going to be with Neptune in April the 23rd, but March and April are going to be beautiful. I haven't looked at them as a whole. I'm just really honing into how Venus is supporting us in this process. So the dates I have, January 6th and 7th, February the 20th, March the 7th, and April the 23rd. But basically all the way through January, February, March, the first 3 months of the year. That on some level they might be hard. I don't know. They're talking about how politically it's all messed up and this, that, and the other thing. But I am here to support you in writing the magic, being aware of the magic, being aware of the alchemy that wants to support you in this new paradigm, in this new way of you being in a state of open-heartedness, magic. We are an electromagnetic field. And whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, that's what you draw into you. One of my affirmations that I do or invocations that I do is, let's see, how does it go? I shine brightly with grace. All that I need and desire is here with me now and comes to me easily. I relax, believe, and receive. So let that be your mantra right now. Expand your energy field, breathe into it. Know that good things are wanting to come into your life. All you have to do is open and receive. So let Venus work her magic on you. And if you want to know where this is all happening in your chart so that you can really ride this wave of higher consciousness and magic, I really believe it, magic. Um, things can come to you and life can be easier. You just have to open up your energy field and not carry that heavy energy that is wanting to be released so that good things can come to you. I hope this is all making sense. I'd love to give you a reading, so I'll leave a link down below. This is a great time to have an astrology reading. It's an hour and a half. You'll get it recorded. You'll get some relationship reports and a yearly report. And some actually some follow-up goodies as well. I always follow up with some um, educational material that supports you in your journey also after an astrology reading. So you get a lot, and this is a great time to have a reading because even, it's the Gregorian calendar new year, so we're still cocooning, but we are on some level starting a new year, and so you can start cocooning into what you want in that for that February the 20th burst of energy of the new you. Okay? I'm here to support you. I'm here to help. Please thumbs up, share, and I'd love for you to comment. Have a beautiful day. Until next time. Namaste.